Let's talk about literally everything we know about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Amen.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Allow Pennywise to dance you now.
We're gonna get you. Oh, blood on the beat!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes, death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? Killjoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today, we're doing a video that I've been putting off for a long time because there is so much to talk about when it comes to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I have like, look at this. So I'll be honest with you. I usually have like 1 page of notes. I have this, and I have 2 more pages after that. So this is gonna be a long friggin' video, man. If 1 page is usually like 8 to 12 minutes, who knows how long this is gonna run for. But before I get into literally everything there is to know about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe, please. Because I put a lot of time and effort into this video. I'm hoping people watch it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Cracking open this massive peanuts. Oh my God. So, over 6 years ago, they announced the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And it was announced from Warner Bros. Originally back in April of 2015, and Five Nights at Freddy's creator Scott Cawthon even stated that he wanted to make an insane, terrifying, and weirdly adorable movie. Now, at first this was exciting to fans. The game wasn't that old. They're like, wow, they're already making a movie. This is awesome. And even in 2015, we had our first director announced with Gil Kenan, who honestly, not a bad choice to make the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. The guy did Monster House and the not so loved Poltergeist remake from 2015. But I really like Monster House. He also did City of Ember, which is a really good movie. I feel like he would have been a good choice for a Five Nights at Freddy's flick. But then 2 years go by, nothing happens. No, there's no production, there's no script, nothing was really going on. In January of 2017, Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, stated that due to problems with the movie industry as a whole, the film was met with several delays and roadblocks and was back at square one. Get used to me saying that because there's many, many times in the history of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie where everything was back to square one, unfortunately. Why that happened? I don't know. Scott Cawthon blames problems with the movie industry, still kind of an unclear situation there. It just seems like the guy's kind of hard to work with, and we're gonna get into even more of the history, which kind of further explains that. Cawthon also promised at this point to be more involved with the movie he wanted to be involved with the movie from day one. This time, and that's something extremely important to him. He wanted this movie to be something that he's excited for the fan base to see, essentially. And once again, like, yeah, I think that maybe there was some problems with the script that he probably didn't like, or something that didn't feel Five Nights at Freddy's to him, and he wanted it to go in a certain direction that probably didn't work. Once again, we're gonna get into some more stuff that will explain that a little better. After Cawthon tweeted out a Blumhouse studio logo, just like 2 months after he announced that the movie was kind of done with Warner Bros., Jason Blum actually confirmed this over on Twitter, saying he was excited to work on the Five Nights at Freddy's a movie, and that they had acquired the IP, Blumhouse. That was all the way back in 2017. They are still working on this thing today, here in 2022. So, Blumhouse announces in 2018 that Christopher Columbus, not the one that, you know, sailed the ocean blue in 1492, no, this is the director that made Gremlins and some of the Harry Potter movies. And honestly, also not a bad choice. He was gonna write and direct the film with Blum and Cawthon serving as producers alongside him. And honestly, I would have loved to have seen that movie. That's, in my opinion, no offense, Gil, but that's kind of a better choice for this movie, I think. He's a much more seasoned director. He's done more movies. And I kind of like his movies a little more, I'm gonna be honest. Christopher Columbus would have been a good choice, I think. Chris Columbus could have done it. But by August of 2018, Cawthon announced the script was complete. This was really good news for FNAF fans, and even teased a trilogy of Five Nights at Freddy's movies. So this script that they had was apparently going to lead into a second and third film from Blumhouse. So unfortunately, only a few months later, Cawthon announced yet again that for some reason the script had been scrapped and that the film was going to be delayed. I mean, I don't know what happened there. Jason Blum had even put out a tweet back in 2018 saying they were planning on a 2020 release, and then out of nowhere, it's just like, nope, we're not doing it again. I don't I don't know. I don't know what happens. Something about the movie got scrapped once again. So then after nearly 2 years of no news, just constant disappointment for Five Nights at Freddy's fans, Jason Blum finally confirmed multiple times in the latter half of 2020 that the film was still in active development, which is kind of strange because it was like, well, what's going on? Cawthon hasn't said anything about the film. Well, what's happening with this movie? So Cawthon goes over to Reddit and he starts doing like, making a bunch of posts talking about how they're going to return to a scrapped script from the past, referring to it only as the Mike screenplay. That's of course in reference to a character from the games. And then it would start to begin filming in spring of 2021. Well, that never happens. There was no plans for that to even happen. Jason Blum even announced in the fall of that year that there was numerous issues with that script and that Christopher Columbus was no longer attached to the project, probably because it just wasn't all that great. I'm sure Cawthon had some kind of influence on the script that maybe Christopher Columbus wrote, and it just didn't come out the right way, and Jason Blum wasn't a fan of it. But the most recent news was that Jason Blum this month stated that news on the film is dangerously close to coming out and that they're currently shooting for a 2023 release. Here's the thing though, in that same interview, he also mentions about how the big movie for 2023 coming from Blumhouse is going to be the Exorcist remake or requel, reboot, whatever the heck you want to call that. And kind of seems like he doesn't really have his focus on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie from that interview and from that clip that I'm sure you've seen now if you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I really don't think that it's going to be coming out in 2023. We've been promised many release dates for this film and it's just not happening. It seems like his focus is much more on that, which is kind of understandable. The Exorcist is just a much bigger IP than Five Nights at Freddy's is. Although there's a lot of Exorcist fans that really don't want those movies because we don't really need a sequel to The Exorcist. With Halloween movies, honestly, you can pump those out every single year if you want to do that, Jason Blum. Go nuts, but we don't really need 3 more Exorcist films, especially not from David Gordon Green. I love David Gordon Green. He's phenomenal. I think he killed it with the last 2 Halloween movies, in my opinion. I know some will disagree. That's fine. I'm hoping Halloween Ends is going to be badass, but I just don't think his style is going to translate well into The Exorcist. The Exorcist is not a slasher franchise, and it doesn't need like 3 more sequels of things going on. I just don't think that's going to work personally. I almost kind of wish they would focus more on Five Nights at Freddy's. This would be something that honestly, if they wanted to throw David Gordon Green at, cool. That would be sick. I think he would do a really good Five Nights at Freddy's movie and possibly trilogy. Possible trilogy. I really don't think that his style is going to work well with The Exorcist, but hey, we'll just have to see in 2023. I will say, yeah, once again, I'm not banking on this movie coming out in 2023. It might come out in 2024 if it is in active development, like Jason Blum says, and hopefully he hasn't just shoved it aside. That's the worst case scenario. I really hope that's not the case. And honestly, I think maybe, yeah, so maybe something is going on there, but obviously David Gordon Green won't be directing this. The guy has his hands full right now. He's kind of busy. So what are some other Blumhouse directors that could be in charge of this project? Well, I have a list of them here, and I don't know. I just don't know if any of these people are going to be interested in this project, but maybe, you never know. Christopher Landon is the one that I would love to see do the film most. I really think he would actually make a really good Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the work of Christopher Landon, he did some of the Paranormal Activity sequels, like all the way back in the day when those were super popular. And then most recently, he did the Happy Death Day films and Freaky. Now, those movies with their style, like Happy Death Day and Freaky, I feel like that would translate really well into a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So honestly, if there's any Blumhouse director that really needs to do this film, it's Christopher Landon. That would be awesome. I know he is kind of a little busy right now. He's working on a movie for Netflix, I believe, if I'm correct about that. So that's going to be interesting to see. I would 100% want him to be the director of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Another one that I've heard pitched out in the world who might do it, but probably not because his style is just completely different than a silly Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That's not to disparage the Five Nights at Freddy's IP. It's inherently sillier than most darker horror films. Scott Derrickson is a mainstay over at Blumhouse. He's now made 2 films for the production company, including Sinister and the upcoming Black Phone. I just don't feel like his style would work very well with Five Nights at Freddy's, so I don't think he would be interested in the project. Now, I hate to say unfortunately before this, but unfortunately the director who's most likely to be doing the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is Jeff Wadlow. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this name, it's because he's kind of made some of the lower tier, least grossing movies from the Blumhouse, which is like Truth or Dare, Fantasy Island, and a lot of those are critically panned. A lot of people don't like those movies. I'm sure he's a great guy in real life. I really mean no diss towards Jeff. I just don't care for cinematographers' movies, man. And I know that sucks. There's something great in every movie, I think. There's something positive to be found in every film. And yeah, there's some enjoyable stuff about, especially Truth or Dare. That's probably the one that I like the most from him. I actually really enjoyed that movie. He also did Kick-Ass 2, which I like. I like both the Kick-Ass movies personally. But I will say the guy is working with Marlon Wayans on a Netflix Halloween movie. So I'm assuming that's probably like in the can by now. They probably already have that filmed and like they're working on editing it maybe over the summer, or maybe they're filming it right now. I'm not 100% sure. It seems like it's going to be like a scary movie type of vibe. Like literally the movie Scary Movie from 2000, not just a scary movie. It seems like it's going to be like a silly comedic kind of spoof movie that they're going to put out in Halloween. It's going to be a good time. Like I'm sure it's going to be great. So he doesn't necessarily have his hands full right now. I could see him being the director of this film. And I know that probably scares some people because like he's not exactly the most notable director or like the most maybe not the most qualified, I would say. And like, no offense to Jeff, I mean, no offense to him, but I just feel like Christopher Landon would be the best case scenario here. And obviously we're not getting somebody like James Wan, Lee Winnell, some of the bigger people who've worked with Blumhouse. I just don't think that's going to happen personally. Or like Jordan Peele. Like I seriously doubt like we're going to get anybody like that on a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but we could get someone like Christopher Landon, Scott Derrickson, Jeff Wadlow. I could see that happening for sure. They're also not, here's the thing about Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not a big enough IP to give it to one of those like huge mainstay horror directors, but it's also not small enough to just hand it off to like a first-time director. It's just at that like sweet spot where you got to give it to someone with some film experience, but you can't give it to someone with like really none or too much. And too much meaning someone who's like really up there, like a big name. Because they're not going to be interested in this project. Like I said, it's inherently goofy. And that's not a bad thing. Like, do you want to see a Five Nights at Freddy's film that's like straight serious? No, I don't want to see that at all. I want to see a goofy Five Nights at Freddy's film that's like jump scary and crazy, bloody, gory. It's like a candy kind of horror film. That's what I want from a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Very similar to like Willy's Wonderland or the Banana Splits movie, which have somewhat satisfied my urge for a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but it's just not quite exactly the same thing. I mean, I remember playing those games when they came out and they horrified me. I would love for a movie to recognize that and bring that same kind of approach into a film instead of a video game. Those games are so much fun. I would love to see that happen in a movie, and hopefully Blumhouse executes this quicker than later. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we can get this thing sometime soon. That would be awesome. But what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to get this thing in 2023? Is Jason Blum actually telling us the truth this time? Or is it going to get pushed more into the future? I hope not. I got my fingers crossed that this thing comes out in 2023. FNAF fans are some of the most patient fans on the planet at this point. So I really hope for the Five Nights at Freddy's fans out there, we can get this thing sometime soon. Hopefully. Got my fingers crossed. What do you guys think about it, though? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Who do you want to direct this film as well? Leave me that down there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this massive Five Nights at Freddy's video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. I will be covering updates about Five Nights at Freddy's now moving forward. That I literally just covered just about every single update there has been about this film since 2015. So yeah, make sure to follow this page if you want to see more Five Nights at Freddy's updates. I do updates on Scream 6, Halloween Ends, all the big horror movies coming out essentially. So make sure to subscribe to this page if you're new here. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.